Welcome back, and it's a pleasure to have on from the Orange County Sheriff's Department, Lieutenant Gene Inouye, and we are going to talk about scams today, as I mentioned a little bit earlier. Welcome, Lieutenant.
Thank you for having me here today.
You know, first, let's acknowledge, the fallen officer, because you have your badge with the black band around it, and I think that's important.
Yeah, unfortunately, we had Deputy Cameron, who was a member of our Stanton Police Services, who had passed away recently after being in a coma for several years.
Yeah.
So,
well, thank you and all of the officers from all the different agencies, for their service, because as we've seen recently, it's can be, unfortunately, quite unpredictable out there.
it definitely is sometimes,
Yeah.
yes.
So thank you. Scams, as I said when I was giving the weather, they're ever increasing and they're ever getting more creative, unfortunately.
Yes, unfortunately, yes.
So let's talk about a few of them that have been ongoing. Some of these have been ongoing for quite a while. The IRS one is certainly one that's probably in some form or another has been going on for years. And then the Social Security one is something fairly recent maybe over the last year or two.
Yes, so the IRS scam is usually prevalent more during the tax season,
Yes.
obviously, and it usually comes through emails. And oftentimes what they'll do is they'll try to say that either you owe money to the IRS or we need more information to clear up maybe some discrepancies in your tax return, or they'll say if you want to find out what your tax refund status is, then to contact this number. And obviously the IRS is not going to contact you via email, and usually they're not going to contact you by phone. You'll usually get that letter from the IRS if you have some tax issues.
And they're never going to contact you if you have a refund and call you, hey, you haven't collected your refund yet. I don't think they're ever going to do that.
I haven't had that phone call either yet, right? So yeah, that doesn't happen usually. So usually, obviously, with all scams, they're trying to get personal information from you. So whether it's a bank information, your Social Security information, anything that personally identifies you as an individual, and they use that information to try to take money out of your accounts, or use your identity to get credits, lines of credits, or any kind of financial gain from using your identity.
Right, and a lot of times on these emails, they can be coming, as you mentioned, the IRS ones, they can look like they're coming from your bank or whatever, because they go and often use the same logos and those kind of things. And you don't ever want to click on those. I got one once that it was from the bank or the credit union or something like that. Well, it turned out to be legitimate, but I didn't click on that. I called them and I go, hey, I got this email. And they go, oh yeah, it looks like your card might have been compromised. So we're going to be sending you out a new card, and it was legitimate.
Yes.
I didn't click on it. I called.
Yes, and you definitely don't want to, if you get an email or a phone call from someone that you didn't prompt the call, you want to make sure that you can go on the back of go on your statement or look on the back of your card and call that phone number. Don't call the phone number that they provide in an email, or if they call you and say, hey, call this number regarding your bank information.
Yeah, that's very true. A lot of times just calling them is bad because it verifies your phone number, and the scam may simply be that they're using your phone number to make illegitimate phone calls on, or nowadays, you can use the phone number to order things, right? Then it gets onto your bill. So you don't even want to do that.
Yes, and scammers have gotten so sophisticated within the last few years because of technology, where they're even actually able to what we call spoofing phone numbers. So it may be a phone number that pops up on your caller ID, which may be a familiar phone call, or maybe a family member, or it could even be from a police department. And that's where a lot of these Social Security scams and some of the IRS scams, they actually come up saying that it's from the IRS or from the Social Security Administration.
Let me ask you about that. You just about police departments.
Yes.
That is something that has gone on for years and years and years. I mean, I can remember, 30 years ago, you get calls, I'm with the Police Association of Orange County or whatever it is, and we're collecting funds and that sort of thing. Do you folks do that?
We do not do that.
Okay.
The Sheriff's Department will not actively solicit donations for anything. Usually those phone calls are usually after a major catastrophic maybe disaster in our county. And I've heard of scams where someone will represent the Firefighters Association or the Sheriff's Association, California Sheriff's Association. So no, neither us nor the fire department would reach out to the public and make cold calls seeking donations.
Okay, very good to know.
Yes.
Okay, this other one, the Social Security one, and this is quite scary to folks that are getting Social Security, because the call comes in, and if they answer it, it's basically saying, well, we don't have your correct information. We're going to stop sending out your checks because we don't have this information, right?
Yes. So oftentimes, obviously their main goal is to get that personal information so they can access your bank accounts or anything, like I said, where they can get some type of financial gain. And again, you may get phone calls where, I mean, I've gotten phone calls where they say that they're from the Social Security Administration and that your Social Security number is being suspended. Well, the Social Security Administration is not going to suspend your Social Security card number, right? They're not going to call asking for personal information. They already have that personal information, so why would they even need that?
Yeah.
And oftentimes they'll say, well, we need to verify who you are. Well, they already know who you are, and they shouldn't be. The biggest thing is don't provide any personal information to a unsolicited or to a phone solicitor or a call that you have not personally called for information.
Right. And then there's a lot of them, although they may not be necessarily scams, just annoying calls in general, timeshares and things like that.
Yes.
You know, that's why I just don't, unless I know the number, I don't answer it. If it's important, they're going to leave me a message, or more often than not, if people I know, they're going to text me.
Yes, absolutely.
I don't get many personal phone calls anymore.
Yes.
That's so like 2000, 2001, right? Who gets calls? All right, let's talk about another one. And, you know, we mentioned the calls, but secure Wi-Fi. This is important because people are often out, they're sitting over at Starbucks or just doing something, and I got to pay this bill or whatever it might be. And, you know, quite often the Wi-Fi is not secured.
That's correct. So even at home, you want to make sure that you secure your Wi-Fi with a very good password.
Don't. Yeah.
Right. So that usually, unfortunately, they'll set up their Wi-Fi system. They're excited to use that new system, and then they fail to reset the password, and they use the default password. So obviously, if you have a home Wi-Fi, definitely change the password, make it, and you may want to change it, you know, every few months to make sure that if someone has it, they can't access your Wi-Fi. Because if they're able to access your Wi-Fi, then they're able to possibly get into your computer system and get personal information from your computer system, which is the same thing with public Wi-Fi. Public Wi-Fi is open to everybody. There are people out there that will sit in coffee shops just for the sole purpose of getting information from people that are using the public Wi-Fi for paying bills or access or purchasing things through different online stores, and then they're able to get that information and use it to create their crimes. Right,
and it's very easy to do. That is to secure your own Wi-Fi. And you know, to give you an example, even I'm sitting at home and sometimes you lose your Wi-Fi signal. You go to look back on, and it says choose a network. Well, I can see my neighbors.
Yes, absolutely.
And here you're even in more close proximity. So if somebody had not secured their Wi-Fi or you haven't, they can just choose you. And if anything, they're now using your system. If even all they're doing is just using your system, it's they don't want to pay for theirs or whatever.
Correct.
That's bad enough, let alone getting in.
Yes, because if they're using your Wi-Fi to access websites or do things online that is illegal, and it ends up, an criminal investigation occurs, we can actually track that IP address to that Wi-Fi, so it appears that you're the one that is doing those illegal activities.
Yeah. One other thing that I'd like to mention. We have both the Mac Club here and the PC Club, and they can teach you with your phone how to use two-factor authentication, meaning if you're online somewhere and you want to log in and like your bank, sometimes they'll go, we don't recognize this computer. They will send a code to your text, and then you go in that way. This can be set up with your iPhone, your Android phone, for a lot of different reasons, and it's good. It's a little bit more of a hassle, but it will help you, and our different clubs can help people learn how to do that.
Yeah, and that's a great point. Absolutely.
Yeah. As far as just in general, somebody feels that they have been victim of a fraud, what can they do about it?
Well, if they're a victim of a fraud, obviously we want them to call the Sheriff's Department. I've got two phone numbers, 949-770-6011 for South Orange County, or 714-647-7000 for North Orange County. Either phone number will reach our dispatch center, and we can send a deputy out to wherever they are to take that crime report. I think the biggest thing to prevent yourself from being a victim of a scam, and there's so many different scams that are going on today, is just mainly keeping up to date as to what type of scams that are out there. And the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, is a great source of information of scams that are currently or that are occurring throughout the United States. And you can go on their website, which is ftc.gov, Gov, and usually what they'll do is they'll post the latest scams that they're encountering with the FTC.
That's good. Yeah.
And with them as well, if you're a victim, you can actually file a report with the FTC, and they'll provide you help on how to get you back on track as a victim.
Right.
So.
And what's good in this community, our security department is headed by Inouye. We often give talks about that, and if you feel you are a victim of fraud, and although our security department is not going to help you with that, what they will help you is you can always get a hold of the security department here and goes, they'll send you to the right direction to the Sheriff's Department. So they're very good about that. So great to have you on.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And this is all fantastic information, and the whole thing is, if you put this down here, if in your gut you feel that something's a little strange, it probably is.
Absolutely.
It's better to be safe than sorry, because if you miss that important phone call, they're going to call you back.
Yes, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably isn't.
It is.
Right. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Nice to meet you, and we'll be right back.